Hey guys, hope you're having a fantastic day. In this video, we're going to be looking at some definitions and key terms that we need to get going on our statistics journey. And so, what is statistics, first of all? I know you guys watched a video, hopefully yesterday, if it ended up loading. Statistics is the collection, analysis, interpretation, and presentation of data. Now, what we can do is we can break down statistics into two different categories. We have descriptive statistics, and that's what we're going to be doing in the first half of this class, is we're going to be organizing and summarizing data. That's going to be making charts, making bar graphs, finding mean, median, mode, being able to describe the data with numbers and with visuals is a good way of looking at it. Then we get into my favorite, inferential statistics. And it says inferential statistics is formal methods for drawing conclusions from, quote, good data. That'll be later, all right? So we'll retouch on that when we're ready for it. Lost somewhere in there is the whole idea of probability. And probability is just a mathematical tool used to study randomness. There is a lot of probability, of course, on the ACT, so I will be spending an entire unit in between descriptive statistics and inferential statistics talking about probability to hopefully help those ACT scores. So some key terms we're going to be looking at today are going to be listed here. So first up, we have a population. A population is simply a collection of persons, things, or objects under a study. You need to kind of think when you hear the word population all. So if I'm wondering, what is I'll just use the average height of a Dexter High School student. The population would have to be the average height of all the Dexter High School students. Now, that can be really hard to get your hands on. There's people absent every day. There's me that's absent, of course, but I'm not a student, so I wouldn't be in the study. But it's just hard to get your hands on. People move in and out. And you can imagine if we're dealing with something like the population of the United States, it gets really hard to get your hands on a population. So a lot of times in statistics, we have to settle for a sample. And a sample is just going to be a portion or subset of the larger population. Hopefully, I can work on creating a sample that's good enough that will kind of represent the entire population. And so maybe if I can get these 10 students and get their average height, I will be able to halfway get what the actual height would be of the entire population. And so a statistic is a number that would come with the sample. So suppose I got the average height to be, 5'8", okay? And so from that little group of 10 people, if I got their average height to be 5'8", that is a statistic because it came from the sample. Now, if I was able to get my hands on the entire population and find that the actual population of Dexter High School was only 5'7" instead of 5'8", that would be a parameter, okay? And so it's kind of nice because parameter goes with population and statistic goes with sample. So the letters up front will match up when we're working this. A variable is just going to be a letter that you want to assign to it. The book kind of goes a little crazy, making sure you're picking a letter. I'm not going to be picky about it. You'll see me probably choose X a lot. And it says it's a characteristic or measurement that can be determined for each member of the population. So the variable, if I was to ask this junior as to what his height was, his individual height would be a variable. Think of it this way. A variable is what is varying in the study. And then data is just going to be a list of your values. Okay. All right. we're almost done. It kind of feels weird. I'm going to have you guys do example 1 in just a minute. I'm actually going to do example 2 with you. I'm going to let you do the fill in the blank one with your table buddy in a second. So this is all kind of weird for me because I'm going to have to type stuff in. I should be good for it. Yes. Let's get that cursor in the right spot. All right. Whoa. That's good right there. Okay, so it wants me to find all those little definitions that we just talked about. Okay, here's my study. I want to determine the average number of glasses of milk college students drink per day. And so imagine being on a university. I'm not going to be able to get my hands on every single person at the university. And so what I did was yesterday in English class, you asked 5 students how many glasses of milk they drank the day before. And so the answers were 1, 0, 1, 3, and 4 glasses of milk. And so what I'm going to want you to get good at is just identifying each one of these key terms that we just talked about. So first up is population. What would the population be? And usually you can kind of hunt around up here for it. And it's going to be all college students. Okay. All college students. I love the word all in there when we're talking about population. Okay. Next up is sample. Now, sample is just going to be a subset of that population. That's where I got those 5 English students. The 5 English students I asked in class. Okay, next up is parameter. All right, on parameter, remember parameter goes with its buddy population because they both start with a P. And so for parameter, that's actually going to be my number, all right? That's going to be the average number of glasses of milk college students drink in a day. All right. And then the sample, that answer will sound very similar, but remember, sample, statistic. Hope I spelled that right since I'm the statistics teacher. Statistic is going to be what I got from the sample. Remember, those S's go together. And so it's going to be the average number. I love how you can't type when you really need to. Average number of glasses drank by the 5 English students. All right. Okay, now statistic. Where are we at now? Variable. Like I said, they're going to do something weird, like say assign it to X, and then I don't really care about seeing the X. If you want to put it in there, it'll kind of follow with what the book's going to do and some of the answers that you'll see on your practice problems. But for the variable in this case, it's going to be how many glasses of milk just one English student drank. So number of glasses one English student drank. Okay, so just one. All right, get that word one in there on variable, or maybe each. I like one a lot. And then finally we have the data. All right. And the data is just going to be the list of numbers that I got from the sample. And so it doesn't always have to be numbers. We'll talk about why sometimes it's not numbers, but that's the idea with it. I want you to be able to kind of, I'm never going to make you just write down a definition. I'm more interested in you using the definitions that we talk about in class and being able to put them into a scenario and telling me how the definitions applied to a study. So I'm going to have you guys go back and do example 1. Okay, so there was a study conducted of local college students to analyze their average cumulative GPAs of students who graduated last year. So they're only interested in those. Fill in the letter of the phrase that best describes each of the items on the next slide. So I've made this a multiple choice for you. So why don't you and your table buddy, I don't even know if you guys have table buddies, but let's just assume that you do. You guys go through, fill this in, go ahead and hit pause on the video, and then I'll fill it in as well. Then we can talk about it a little bit and we'll be done. Okay, so go ahead and hit pause, and then we'll come back. Okay, hopefully you got something that looks like this. I threw you a curveball in there. Letter A was not used, even though it had the word all in there. But remember, the only people that I was interested in this study was the ones that were graduating last year. And so I didn't want all the ones that were not graduating. So be careful with that. Make sure you're reading everything. All right, so this is going to be the first set of practice problems that we have, these 3 problems. Some of you are new to my class, so here's how it works. If you go to Google Classroom, what you have is, normally if I'm in class, hopefully I will be soon, you'll have a set of guided notes that you'll be able to do with me that have fill in the blanks. And so that's great to use here. But here's always going to be a link to the book and to the page in which I assign the practice problems. So if you click on it, actually I already clicked on it, this pops up. And I assigned, which ones did I assign? 43, 49, and 51. And so I think 43, 49, and 51 are great problems to put on an upcoming quiz and test. I think that if you can work those problems, I think that you'll be in good shape. That's going to be kind of how I model my questions. And so it's going to be exactly what we did in the notes. It's just a way for you to practice it on your own. And you just, if you're coming from Pre-Calc A, we still have this sweet little trick where you can click on the number and it will tell you, you can check your work as you go. And so there's all your answers to each one. All right. Well, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Hope to see you guys soon, and I will talk to you later.